Thursday, August 11th at 6:02 p.m. Tina, roll call, please.
Okay. Gina Sakala,
Here.
Scott Ryder. I know he's here.
He's here. Yeah.
Tina LeBlanc,
Here.
Jonathan LeBlanc. Did we lose Jonathan?
I am here.
Oh, you're here. Oh, there you are. John Ungary.
Here.
Doug Maxellen.
Here.
Doug number 2, Doug Finger.
Here.
Welcome. Tim Neville.
Here.
Tom
Bethany,
Hibbard.
Bethany Olette
is now joining.
Here.
to go out. And Marie Pisner. I don't think we have Marie.
She's not here tonight.
All right, and it looks like, was that Tom Hibbard that just got on too?
Yes,
Yep.
I'm joining by phone this evening.
Oh, okay, Tom, thank you. And Donald is on also. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for everybody for attending. I appreciate it. I know it's tough during the summer months. So we can do an approval of the minutes dated July 19th, 2022. Tina, you had sent those out to everybody, right?
So moved, Gina.
Thank
Second.
you. Motion done by Doug, seconded by Tim. Any questions, deletions, changes by anybody? Doug, you Finger, you probably didn't get that because you were not.
That's fine. I was going to abstain anyway, so.
Yep, perfect. All
Okay.
right, so all in favor, aye.
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 Anybody abstain?
Doug,
Doug
Finger.
Thank you.
Finger does. Any against? None against. Perfect. Special guest number 4, we have none. Unfinished business. Any update, Chris, on any of the roofs of Eli or Whitney besides the invoices that we're going to approve? Or for
Well,
anything?
we have change orders
Mhm.
for each of them.
Yep.
So we do have to discuss the 2 change orders for each project. I can give you a quick construction update.
Yep.
For Hazardville, the roof at large is complete. That was completed last week. They are now in the process of doing the detailing and then putting the edge metal, the light gray metal that goes around the edge of the roof. That's what they call detailing. They're in the process now of putting that up. They need about another week or so to finish all the detailing. And then Hazardville will be complete. Eli, they will be complete with with replacing the roof at large this week. And then they'll start the detailing there next week with the edge metal. The intent and what they're trying to do is have it completed by the 20, I believe it's 22nd. They want to have everything wrapped up by the 22nd. Teachers arrive on the 24th, and then students are, I believe, the 29th to the 30th. So we're in good shape to meet that obviously for Hazardville, but for Eli, there won't be any problem.
Okay, so that's the target date for both.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Anybody have any questions on the construction side or timeline side for Chris on these 2? Cool. All right. Thank you for that. Transfer station update. Donald, I don't know if you have anything that you want to talk about here, and then I'm going to go to Doug after because I know that he's there, so he can give you guys some sort of first world update experience with it as well. So I can start.
I'll talk about the administrative part of it. So the scale house has been approved. We've been through several submittals to try to get everything correct. Us working with IT and a variety of other places. So that's been finally approved and signed off on by the contractor. So those wheels are in motion. Cardboard compactor, we all agreed on things today and gave that to the contractor. So that should be ordered hopefully tomorrow. And on a similar vein, I know it wasn't part of that project, but through CIP budget, We did get money for the bulky compactor, and we are currently finishing up the RFP for that. So hopefully by middle of next week, that'll go out on this, it should go out really quickly for that. So things are moving along very well, and I'll happily hand it over to Doug, who can give you on-site, whatever, you can talk about it.
Okay, thank you, Donald, everybody else. So on site is basically they are working on the septic field right now for the new shed. It's getting along pretty good. Foundation's been poured, the flooring's been put in. There will be a crawl space. The outgoing scale has been in place, even though it's not up to working yet, because there's still a lot of work to do that. I have videos and pictures if anybody's interested in seeing these things. And also too is that, like Donald said, it's just, everything has to start rolling along. Once the shack gets put in and once we start getting things rolling, I'm thinking, I think Donald probably has a closer time limit. I'm thinking 1st of November, only because of the delay of the new shack. They say it's 4 to 5 weeks out. I'm not sure. I think is that what you heard?
Yes, in that time frame. Yep.
Yeah.
It's coming from Georgia, so it's a pretty large building. It's going to be, again, it's 14 feet across up by the roof part of it. So it's a wide load, and it's all special transport at that point, but it's coming from Georgia. And so hopefully within, 5 to 6 weeks, it'll be up here. So that really is the next step, is to get that in place and make sure that is locked down and running, so then we can take the other scale offline and move it over. So
yeah,
it's just a little coordination.
Right. It's still coordination. The assistant director, Ken Blatt, and myself, we've been meeting with IT about the new motherboard that needs to be in place, the 2 computers that need to be co-sync with each other for an incoming wait. So if somebody comes in, we'll say Doug Maxone, who started all this. Thank you, Doug. Who came in, make sure that the other computer can be, connected to the same program. So when they're going out, they can read both the same, or if one goes down, one of them can run both. That's the most important thing that we're working on. And IT's been really good about this. So, hey, it's definitely a process. It's not a fast process. It's a slow process, but there's been no delay on products and material, as far as I know, Donald. So I think we're all pretty good.
Great.
Does anybody have any questions for Doug or Donald on the transfer station? Going once, going twice. All right, sold. Thank you, guys. All right, down to new business, approval of change orders and invoices. For those people who may have logged on late, there were 2 emails that went out about an hour and a half ago, or an hour ago, or 2 hours ago, something like that, with the last 2 final pieces. Everything else was sent, I think, on Tuesday. So Chris is going to take it over from here and share his screen, so everybody should have a copy in their email and that they've been able to look through and what's going to be on the screen. So if you want to go through, do you want to do the invoices or you want to do the change orders first?
Either one, it doesn't matter to me.
I don't care either. Whatever you pull up first, just let us know what it is.
Donald, are you sharing or am I sharing?
I can share. I'll run it. You can talk.
All right, so this is Silktown's invoice number 3 for Hazardville. The current payment due would be $448,483.20, leaving a balance of $434,055, which includes the retainage, the 7% retainage. Donald, if you want to scroll down. As I mentioned earlier, Hazardville, the roof membrane is 100% complete. Insulation's down, membrane's down. And they're just detailing the edges and installing the metal trim. Can you scroll down, Donald? we go. So here are all the line items where they're billing this period. Does anybody have any questions on this thus far?
All right, anybody have questions on invoice number 3 from Silktown for Hazardville Memorial Roof?
I do.
I
Yeah,
do, Gina.
Doug.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, Doug and then Bethany.
Okay, this is Doug. Chris, well, part of the question got answered when I seen the one on the screen, because the ones we had weren't signed off by the architect, which, should be done just so that we know he's happy with everything that they're billing, but I see yours is, so that took care of that.
Right.
Shouldn't we have on, and this, I'll just make the statement once, kind of for all the invoices, shouldn't we have somebody at staff? I don't know, I assume we have a project manager from the town or somebody that oversees these projects? Or just to initial them and say, okay, they're good to pay, and yeah, it's 50% done, or it's 90% done in case of the in the case of the architect, just so that we know.
This is Tom Hibbard. Last Friday, I was on site and Mr. DeFore, William DeFore, was there from the town. So we did review the scope of work
Okay,
at
But-
both schools.
yeah, maybe if they come, before they come out to us next time, if we could just, put some initials or something at the top to say, yeah, we know Bill reviewed them and he's comfortable with them, and because otherwise we're just kind of going on what we see in front of us and go from there. I'd just be more comfortable if the town, your project manager, if it's Bill or whoever it is, just says, yeah, it looks good to me, or something like that, just so we know. And the same with the architect, because we really have no idea whether it's 90% done or 50% done, even though he's building for 90. It's just kind of that other check that gives me a comfort level. I don't know what the rest of you is, that, yeah, what I'm approving is good and I'm happy with it, because it is large amounts of money where we're approving every time.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good point. I like that point. It's just a way to validate.
Yeah, just from
Right.
the town side.
So I will tell you, some of that might be on me because I asked for these on Tuesday. So they may not have had anything that had the initials or sign copies on Tuesday when I sent them out, because I had asked all this stuff to be done Tuesday to get them out to you guys prior to right now. So
Sure.
That's one. Two, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of feel like that's why we have Chris. Right? Is that
That's
not
why,
that's what your
Yes.
your role is?
that's why you have us. That's why you
Yeah.
have Tom as the architect, as well as Greg, who's the rep from the manufacturer. He's out there just about every day or every other day, and he's the one who actually issues the warranty. So you really do kind of have three, at a minimum, 3 sets of independent eyes looking at this.
Yeah, well, if you and the architect go out there all the time on a regular basis, okay, I didn't realize that, but if you're walking the roof and checking it, okay,
Yeah, I wasn't
You
out there
used-
Friday, but I was out there Tuesday and Wednesday.
okay.
All right. So I mean, I don't know if it would help then at that point, Chris, if you ever are able to initial these once you kind of sign off on them as well, maybe that'll help. Maybe that's kind of sort of a go-between for what Doug's asking.
Just
That-
like the architect one, it's just really a sheet of paper that's an invoice. It has nothing on it for signatures. So, even if Chris signed it and said, yeah, good or something, okay, will at least give me a comfort level that, yeah, he's 90% done, or no, he's not.
Okay.
All right.
That's all.
Right.
Awesome. Anything else, Doug?
No, that was it on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bethany, you're up.
I just had a question because it doesn't look like our most current change orders that we've been approving since June are included in this change order amount. It looks just to be the alternates that we approved.
It is,
And
yeah,
I
the
know
change orders
We're
haven't
up
been added
there
here
in
yet.
change orders, like we have 5 approved already on Hazardville, and we got
Right.
2 more, so
2 more.
I think we're north of 65,000 on Hazardville already.
Yes. Yeah,
Well,
they just didn't add them to this requisition.
all right, so they'll be on the next one.
Okay. That's good to know. Anything, that was a good question. Anything else, Bethany, from you? Anybody else?
Nope.
All right, so can I get a motion to approve invoice number 3 for Silktown for Hazardville Memorial in the amount of $448,483.20?
So moved.
Second.
By Doug, seconded by Tim. Any additional questions or discussions? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Aye. Anybody abstain? Perfect. All right.
That was Doug F., by the way.
That what? I didn't hear him.
That made the motion, right?
Oh, I thought that
Yes.
was you. Oh, okay.
I
Just call
got
me
it. Miss
Dougie
Dougie.
Fresh.
Finger made.
Just so we
Call
get
me
the right
Dougie
Dougs.
Fresh. Dougie Fresh.
Okay. Next one, please, gentlemen.
So this is Silktown's invoice number 3 for Eli Whitney. Here we go. Current payment due is $384,750.30, leaving a balance of $472,113.25, which includes the 7% retainage. This invoice, again, Bethany, just to your point before, does not have the change orders included. What I should note is both of these invoices do have both of the alternates that were approved 2 meetings ago included in here. So that is what was added. The change orders are not on there yet. They'll be on the next requisition.
Okay, so we should see those change orders on the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So
Any-
again, here,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
just all the line items there in the completed this period column, as we roll along.
Any questions for Chris on this invoice for Eli Whitney?
Yeah, I got a quick question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Chris, on both of the invoices, there's an allowance for brick replacement. If we don't use that, that'll be a credit change order before they're done?
Yes,
Okay.
the brick allowance, well, one of the change orders tonight is the brick allowance for Eli, which we've exceeded. And that was to repair the chimney. So,
Okay,
yeah. So you'll see that in one of the change orders.
right. But whatever we don't use will be a credit change on the end?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Doug. Anybody else? All right, can I get a motion for invoice number 3 for Silktown for Eli Whitney in the amount of $384,750.30?
So moved, Doug M.
Second.
By Doug M, seconded by Tim. Any additional
Amen.
discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Perfect. All right, next.
So this is Eli Whitney, change order 6. This is to repair the vent lines that were broken. So there were a couple of vent lines that were, not only were they broken, but they were, prior to when they started to remove the roof, they were previously attached to the metal trim up on the roof. And obviously it couldn't be put back in that location, in that
Chris,
manner.
this is Eli Whitney.
This is Eli Whitney. Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, what happened, they went to replace that vent line. It was a 2-inch vent line. It it expanded to a 4-inch cast iron vent line. The 2-inch line was steel. And what happened is when they removed the roof, it dropped down a little bit. There were a vertical pipe in the case. It's supported by hangers. There's literally a round clamp that goes around the pipe and supports it on a vertical run. And there should have been a couple on this pipe. There were none on this pipe. So when it was held in place by the metal flashing on the roof that was crimped around the cast iron pipe. So in roofing, we call for all new flashings. When they removed that flashing, there was no support for the pipe. So it it dropped down a little bit, and obviously it had to be redone and re-supported. It was never installed correctly to begin with. And I
Can
question.
I ask what
somebody-
a vent line is?
Okay, on a
Very,
plumbing fixture.
very briefly, like dumb it down for me.
Sure. On a plumbing fixture, you drain the water out. If you didn't have a vent line to allow air in to equalize the pressure, things would not work. So it vents so as you flush or drain something out of a sink or a toilet or whatever, as the water goes out, you have a vent line to let air in to take up that void that the water's going out. It would essentially create a vacuum and nothing would move out the drain line. So it's a vent stack that allows air and that goes up through the roof.
Makes perfect sense.
Okay, so this was never properly supported, and
Okay.
there was an chase, and when they took out the metal flashing, which it was crimped around it, obviously they had problems. There's a lot of movement in that pipe, and they had to go in, replace part of it, and support it properly.
Okay. Can you scroll all the way down for me? Donald?
Tom, may I ask a quick question about that?
Mhm.
You said that these were never done properly, or may they have eroded over time, kind of thing?
They said there was no indication that there was any pipe supports in there.
Okay. Well, that's not.
I
The
question if
supports,
there
yeah,
might
the
have
supports
been-
wouldn't have eroded.
Right, so that's not a good thing. Thank you for catching that, whoever did.
I'm sorry, can you just scroll down to the total? Yeah, thank you.
$1,575.38.
Thanks.
No, I'm sorry. That's,
Yeah,
cor-
I
that's
had
wrong.
17 out
Yep.
the first time, 1732.92. Okay.
Correct. That's
Anybody
the
have
silicone cost.
any questions for Chris, for the architect, or anything on this change order? All right, can I get a motion approving the change order from Soaktown for Eli Whitney in the amount of $1,732.92, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. By John Ungary, seconded by Tim. Any additional questions or discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. Anybody against? Anybody abstain? All right, perfect. Next.
So here is change order number 7 for Eli Whitney. This is to replace the brick above the allowance, Doug, as I just mentioned earlier. So there's a $3,000 allowance.
Change order 6. Oh, for Eli Whitney?
Change order 7 for Eli Whitney.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for
Yeah.
some reason I only got the 2 Hazardville ones, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Oh. All right, scroll down, Donald, please. Down. This is all the Mason.
So $1,150.
Right.
Okay. Any questions on this? The masonry work?
This was a
That's just
unit
a-
cost. Unit
That's
cost
just
of
the
materials.
Mason. That's just the Mason's price, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, our total's different, Gina. Oh. Oh, he didn't put his markup.
I see
No, he
1,000.
just passed it on because it's an allowance.
Okay, so this really isn't a change, it's just coming off the allowance, right?
No, it's an addition to the allowance. So
So this-
the next requisition, he'll bill the 3,000 plus the 1,150.
So this is really a $4,150 change
Right.
order.
Correct. Yeah, if you scroll down, you'll see the,
Because the allowance was already accounted for?
scroll down right there. Yeah, 4,150. There was an allowance in there. Subtract that. So now 1,150 is what's left over.
Doug Maxellen, I just forwarded you this invoice. This was the one that Gina was referencing that she sent around 4:30. Doug Finger was on here, but not Doug Maxellen. So you
Yeah,
should-
Oh,
and then, thank you, Scott. I actually
I just
sent
caught
it to Doug afterwards because I realized that I had deleted or not put him on that. So he has that one too. I sent them later on this afternoon.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott.
So the 3,000, you agree with his, he doesn't really have a breakdown for that. That was an allowance.
It's just the number of brick.
Okay,
So he had a unit price in his bid of $83 per brick which includes to cut it out, cut the old one out, put the new one in and new grout around it of $83 per brick. There's 50 bricks that he did. That's the 4,150. We had an allowance in there of $3,000, and that's
Right.
where it ended up.
so the 83 is material and labor, and
It's a loaded number. Yep.
it's a loaded number, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Any other questions? All right, so can I get a motion to approve change order number 7 from Silktown on Eli Whitney for the amount of $1,150, please?
Is that correct, or is it it just, from the discussion, it looks like some things were included and some things weren't. Is the new money because we went over the number of bricks that we had to do, and with the labor and all that stuff with it, but isn't the allowance there figured in there already?
Yes, the allowance is, this change order cost is the amount over that.
Okay,
The $3,000 was the allowance, the $1,150 is the in addition to.
okay.
so it's really a 4150 change order.
It's a
Yeah.
$4,150 total cost,
Right.
yes.
Right.
We had
Right.
$3,000 already in their bid.
Right, so the
Right.
change order isn't $4,150. The
No,
change
the-
order is $1,150 over the allowance of $3,000.
Correct.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
Just so we're talking apples and oranges here, I think a little bit, but
Yeah.
that's okay. I got it.
The only thing he didn't do, Chris, is put his markup on it, Silktown, but we'll let it go.
Yeah,
Doesn't get it.
it's an allowance. They don't usually put the markup on it, but he could, but he didn't.
He could on the 1150, but
Yes.
Don, thank you.
All right, so can I get a motion to approve the $1,150 on the change order number
So
7?
moved.
Second,
Scott.
All right, any additional questions? All right, all in favor, say aye.
aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Perfect. Next.
All right, so change order number 6 for Hazardville. There is one drain line, one roof drain that is completely clogged over there on I believe it is the southeast corner of the roof. Southeast. They have tried, so there's the 2 change orders tonight for Hazardville involve the same drain. This change order actually, there's a line in here for the plumber that has done all of the drain work, the new drain work. He tried to snake this drain and was unsuccessful. However, he did that after Silktown brought in another plumber 2 days, 3 days before this guy to just snake the drain, and they weren't able to snake it either. So change order 6 that you're looking at now includes the cost for the plumber to unsuccessfully snake this drain, as well as remove the brick and block, install new PVC piping and insulation, and tie into the existing storm drain line on the opposite side of the cafeteria. And they would cut off and abandon the clogged drain in the wall. That's the other issue with this, is the drain line goes through the wall. It's through a masonry wall inside the building. So you can't do anything with this drain line now that it's clogged.
Right.
You just abandon it in place. So the total cost for this is $5,149.79.
Sorry. Sorry.
All right, any questions on this, Doug?
Yeah, I do. Chris, on, the stuff I received on email here is the 5149, but it has the 2 plumber invoices which match up to that. There's
Yep.
nothing in here for masonry that shows what he used or did for masonry.
Yeah, I think well, yeah, I don't think, they're not really gonna do much, and they're just gonna remove it, and then they're gonna remove the masonry above the ceiling and then just leave it alone.
Okay.
They're just gonna cap the pipe in place. They're not gonna put the masonry back above the ceiling in that area
Okay.
where the drain is.
All right, so in Hazardville, we won't be touching the allowance yet.
No.
Okay.
Hey, just a question, maybe a stupid question. If he's leaving that, he opened up the masonry to get at the pipe, capped it and so on, and he didn't plug it up again. Is that a fire code issue? Because I remember we did some stuff like that and they wouldn't let us leave anything open. I'm not sure where it goes.
Yeah,
so
I would, Chris, if I could talk here, I would have to take a look at that. It's very
Yeah.
possible it doesn't affect it because this is in a chase. So the firewall could be the back of the chase and they're removing the front portion of the chase. So I'd have to take a look at that, but it's very possible that they could open up the chase without disturbing the firewall or a smoke partition. I'm a code analysis, probably a fire or smoke wall, but often the chase is built outward of the fire or smoke wall. So if that was left intact and they just disrupted the chase wall, then no, it would not be necessary to close it up. But I'll be up
Could you
there
check? Could you
again
check on it?
next week, and I will look into that. Yes.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions on this? All right, so can I get a motion to approve change order number 6 for Hazardville Memorial in the amount of $5,149.79, please?
So moved.
Second.
By Tim, seconded by Doug M. Any additional questions or discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Perfect. One more for Hazardville, right?
Yeah. So change order 7, as I mentioned earlier, is just the cost of the other plumber
Who
to
also was unsuccessful?
attempt to, unsuccessfully snake the drain.
I love it.
I also gave it a shot, Chris. To,
Where's your
invoice.
bill?
Just put your invoice in.
Yep,
Yeah.
I gave it a shot.
Oh, we gotta have it.
I was up there for a day and a half.
Oh, boy.
So Chris, we used 3 plumbers on that project, basically.
2 plumbers.
2 plumbers and Scott.
Nice
Oh,
try,
yeah,
Doug.
Right, 3
Nice
if you
try.
include Scott.
Yeah, there must be 3. We got 3 different.
Unsuccessful plumbers.
We got 3 company quotes, so it's got to be 3 plumbers. You got WB Dickinson, you got
Yep.
Plumbing Solutions, and you got, oh, that's Plumbing Solutions twice there, okay, on the
Yeah.
previous one.
Right,
Oh, they tried snaking it, they billed us separately.
correct.
Oh, gotcha now, okay.
Yeah, this one's
Yep.
the $300.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Any questions on this one? Does anybody else want to try to snake it? All
There's
right.
still time.
No, I
Okay.
feel like I'm all right. Maybe Scott. I mean, he doesn't have anything else to do, apparently. He's gonna go spend a couple more days on that roof. Scott, just make sure you send us your bill.
Oh, it's so hot up there too.
I'm sure we'll approve it. Can I get a motion to approve change order number 7 for Hazardville Memorial in the amount of $313.50, please?
Certainly. I move it.
By Tim.
I'll second it.
All right, Doug. Seconded by Doug M. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
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 Any abstentions? Any against? Perfect, unanimous as well. Was that the last of them?
That's it for change orders.
Sweet. Any other invoices or change orders that we need to deal with?
We have 2 invoices from Hibbert and Rosa.
So we had 2 for Silktown, 2 change orders for Eli, 2 change orders for Hazardville, if you're keeping track. And the next one is Hibbert and Rosa.
Correct.
Okay.
Invoice number 3, which takes Tom to 90% of his contract.
And this is for Eli.
This is for Eli for $999.
So we're approving $999.
Correct.
Any questions on this?
So Chris, he's just got 10% left?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, can I get a motion to approve Hibbert and Rosa number 3 for Eli in the amount of $999?
So moved.
Oh, I'm sorry. John, did you have a question?
No, I was just
Oh.
so moving. I was making a motion.
Perfect. Motion by
Make it.
John Ungary, seconded by Tim.
I was making a motion.
We're moving, sorry. All in favor, aye, please?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Unanimous. Thank you. Next one.
So this is Hibbert and Rosa again, Hazardville number 3, in the amount of $999, leaving 10%.
Any questions on this one? All right, motion please, in the amount of $999 for Hibbert and Rosa, number 3 for HMS.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Doug Finger and seconded by Tim. All in favor, please? Aye.
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 Any abstentions? Anybody against? Perfect. Was that it?
That's it.
That's it. Awesome. All right. Any additional questions for Chris or anybody on these 2 projects that we're working on right now?
Nope.
Go ahead.
Good.
Doug.
Gina, actually the question's for you. And I know I've been running my mouth a lot today. When we started the facilities committee, and it goes way back, and I knew a few of us here on the committee currently are original players. I thought it was the town facilities committee where we, actually our first meeting, and Tim probably remembers, we took the bus trip, reviewed all the
Oh, yeah.
buildings, parks and everything. And the only thing we've really ever done other than roofs is, we were able
The
to
transfer.
move the transfer station along with some persuading and got that going. I did notice this summer, there's, Henry Barnard, they did a major paving sidewalk and et cetera project. The Lamagna Center's ongoing, the Brainerd Park project, and none of that has come to us. So I don't know, has our charge changed from a facilities committee to a roofing committee? And that's all we're gonna do?
So, no, I mean, one of the major things that we did was the facilities plan on the consolidation. And I think that this committee worked on that for, God, a year or 2 with the who was it that we used? The name
I know-
escapes.
I know who you mean, but
So we did that for a consolidation and we worked a lot on that, and that was brought to the town council for sort of their blessing for the consolidation. And so we've been dealing with that consolidation piece, and there has been some buildings that have been sold, some have, departments have moved, there's been some merging that has happened as a result of that. So that was, I think, put under either a new resolution or an amended resolution or something years ago for the Joint Facilities Committee. And so then, since then, we've been dealing with a lot of roofs. We dealt with the rooferendum, as Scott coined it.
Right.
And I don't know if you were here, we actually did discuss parking lots for a period of time as well during a meeting or two, because we do, because that is something else that we might be able to deal with. So the Brainerd Park, that went through, I think, leisure. I don't remember the other ones that the parking lots did we used ARPA funds for that, but that was discussed in this facilities committee as well on, are there more we can look at? And that's a conversation we had with Donald. Hey, can you maybe sort of go through like you did with the roofs and rank these? There is, as an aside, we're hoping a lot of funds coming down from the state for infrastructure. And if we can access some of those, we might be able to do some additional projects. Now, I don't know if those will necessarily come through joint facilities, if we're going to be able to access some other funding sources through the state, but that is something that we will be able to look at. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah. So who will determine if we take a project or not? Council?
Yeah, I mean, it's a discussion, and we discussed a little bit about our future charge, I think in the first or the second meeting after the new year. We talked a little bit about it. We, at this point, are going to focus a lot on making sure the roofs are done in the manner that we discussed them. And as another aside, I did ask Donald to remind me of when we talked about the public safety, the police station roof, because we want to make sure that we don't start that until after we figure out what's going to happen with the Public Safety Academy referendum, if that goes back on the ballot in November. So at this point, we're going to sort of focus on that, but I think we can absolutely discuss future projects, and we just want to be mindful about referendums and kind of where we want to do, what we want to bring in this facilities committee versus sort of leisure, or versus the school safety committee that will be dealing with some of the safety things of the schools.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't want, there's a lot of talent on this committee from our different areas in life and stuff, and I just don't want to see people get discouraged to say, okay, every meeting we approve bills and change orders and we move on, so
Right.
That's all.
And I don't think, and we don't want that to happen either, but at the same token, I don't want to have an unnecessary meeting as well.
I agree.
If people have ideas, they're more than welcome, because when we do the next one for committee comments, if people have ideas of what they want to look at, we can absolutely discuss them, and they can bring their ideas, and we can sort of move forward and sort of vetting them out. But as of right now, we're going to focus not solely, but a large amount of our time and energy to make sure that these roofing projects are done, because we do have the referendum that passed, and then, we can go from there. And I will tell you this, I don't want to have unnecessary meetings. Everybody here is busy. If we can have one meeting a month because we don't have pressing issues, then we're going to do that. We're not meeting twice a month just to talk about the same things.
Okay. Thank you.
Tim, I saw your hand, and then I'll go to you, John.
In answer to your questions, Doug, I think we also were talking a lot about all kinds of things, and we had this monkey on our back, which was roofs, that were just in such dire shape that I think we really decided to focus our energies on getting that done. And I took us right through the referendum process, and the rooferendum came through and successfully.
Oh, yeah.
I also thought that the town departments were going to handle some issues in-house, and I'm thinking parking lots, because I saw Enfield Street School had a new parking lot put in just a couple of weeks ago, along with some others. And I'm guessing, and my recollection is we talked about that there was some of those things were going to be handled in-house if we had the funds for it, ones that we didn't have to go to referendum. And we decided to do the big referendum pitch to get that monkey off our back and just get them done. So that's my old 74-year-old ideas.
Yeah, no, again, I just don't want people to get discouraged. We got a big committee with a lot of talent and, you know, a lot of them don't know the history from when we started and
That's
I just
right.
want to make sure we all know it.
Nope, that's important. Like I said, if people have ideas, I mean, the transfer station was a wonderful idea.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
If people have ideas of what, they think we can tackle as a committee, more than welcome to hear them. John, go ahead.
So this is separate, apart from roofs, okay? So it wasn't long after the Uvalde shooting in Texas, the school shooting in Texas, we had an Enfield Public Schools teacher come before the Board of Education expressing a concern about the safety of students and the security of the schools. And she had proposed, I think there were like 5 different items, that things that could be done with the facilities to make them, in her opinion, safer. One was, I think, putting locks on the doors that lock from the inside. She mentioned something about, the windows opening a little bit wider so the kids could get out if they had to, putting a concrete barrier so somebody can't drive through the thing. Now, I know that, the school board doesn't directly handle facilities. So, Chris or Donald or somebody, is anybody looking into this? I know that this same woman spoke, the same teacher spoke before the town council as well, expressing the
Right.
same thing. Is anything being done, or is anybody looking into this?
So before Donald jumps in, I will say that there is a joint security committee that really should be dealing with issues like this. I do believe and Tina can correct me if I'm wrong, that there should be some, I guess, reports or whatnot coming maybe down from your side on what's happening. But I do believe that there's an inventory happening with DPW and the schools. But it's not
Tom
necessarily
Hibbard
something that
is now
the
exiting.
joint facilities committee is going to spearhead unless kind of we need to. But at this point, I think that's more of a joint security subcommittee issue. But Donald, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I thought there was some sort of inventory happening with the school buildings and the doors and things like that. But we also want to be very careful about what we discuss because this is a televised meeting. So just be very careful on what kind of information is disseminated if some of this should not be. Because I think Scott's on the joint security committee and not all of this information is public.
Yeah, so to your engineer, you're precisely correct with that. There is collaborative efforts between DPW, Board of Ed, and EPD and the town manager's office. And we are currently working on getting whatever, getting the inventory, however you want to call it, completed. So it is out there and it is a collaborative effort. And at some point within a very short amount of time, there will be something in the town manager and/or Superintendent Dresik will release it or discuss it or however, where they want to take it.
Right.
Okay, so I think that answers my question. Is something being done? Yes, it sounds like something is being done. So I'm not asking
Yes.
for all the details, but that's good to know. Thank you.
Yes, it is.
Who are the members, if you don't mind telling me, Scott, who's the liaisons on the joint security?
On the school board side, you have myself, John
Yep.
LeBlanc. We have John Santinella from the town council, Cindy Mangini, obviously Superintendent Dresik, Assistant Superintendent Longi.
Chief Fox.
Yep, Chief Fox. Well, we have
Okay.
police representatives, we have fire representatives, EMS representatives.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so we have.
And I know
Everybody-
you guys have met.
Unfortunately, they weren't meeting for a while, but
Yeah.
with Scott's insistence, they started picking up again.
Perfect.
Yep, and Joshua Hamray's also on that from the Board of Ed side.
Yeah, I think in November it became more regular, correct? November,
Yes,
December.
and town councilor, there's one other town council on there. Mike is on there as well.
Okay. So John, just as sort of a direct path, you have Scott and John LeBlanc, who are both on the Board of Ed with you, who are here and on that committee, so they can probably answer some questions if you have any offline as well.
Good. Thank you, Gina.
No problem. Anything else? Any other committee comments?
I do. I have something. I guess it's more for Donald. I was just looking to see if we had an update, if you know at all, on how the Enfield High Field is coming along. It looks like we have a date of, I think, November 1st.
We just, we are almost done with submittals right now. They're, for the turf land, but they are gonna start very, very soon to start doing the removal and doing the demolition work. That is all part of it. So the
Yeah.
submittals are a very complicated process because we have to
Right.
get everything right at that point. Because, although a lot of the things that you see out in the field are hand cut, there's a lot that are sewn in at the factory. So if we don't get that right the first time, then it's kind of a nightmare afterwards to kind of change some of the colors and change the striping. So it's kind of a complicated process. Corey O'Connell has been wonderful with it, and I'm working with him nearly on a daily basis to finish it up. And I would say we're at the 99.9% right now, and we should be let it go for tomorrow. So.
Very good. I guess I was just, the reason why I was asking so much is I think that you guys are going to do an amazing job getting that field exactly the way we need it to be usable. My concern is I want to make sure that we have some sort of maintenance plan in place, because that field, I mean, we'd had other towns come to our field and complain about the condition of our field. So, I hope that there's a solid maintenance plan that's coming along with what we're doing, so it doesn't get that bad again. I mean, eventually it's going to get there to wear and tear, but I would hope that there's going to be a maintenance plan this time that we can adhere to. And I know that was before your time, so just putting out.
Yeah, I agreed, and I agree on the maintenance plan and the like, but also what you got to remember too is that's a 14-year-old field with a 10-year lifespan. So
Correct.
It's been long overdue, and it's showing exactly the signs of wear and tear and replacement of it. So yes, I firmly agree that there were some deficiencies in there. Yes, but again, please take in mind that it's 40% older, should have been replaced again 40 plus years ago.
Agreed. Yeah, I think we're in a better place with the planning as this goes. And I actually have one more question, and this might be more for the town council members. I know that we allow like different groups to use our facilities. And recently, Riley's used our facility in June for the recital. The price they got charged this year went up 142%. Versus what they were charged in the past. They were charged $11,000 for the recital weekend. And because of this, what they do in December is they do a Christmas show and they pay for the facility at Christmas. And then all the money they earn and then all the donations, that all goes to the food shelf for the month of December. And this year, if it's going to cost them $11,000, they're actually starting to look to have their venues outside of Enfield. And I know that we have beautiful facilities and we used to just let them go for free. I guess for me, it's just, it bothers me that Riley's has been a long-standing staple business in this town, and 99.9% of the kids and families that attend Riley's live in Enfield, pay taxes in Enfield. And $11,000 just seems really steep. And I don't know if we have like a chart or we have any information that goes out to show what somebody's going to be charged. They were also forced to use the sound guy that was provided to them. They couldn't use their own sound guy, which they've done for years. They had obviously a 2-year break with COVID, but that just to me seems a very steep, going up between $4,000 and $5,000 to $11,000. So I want, if we can look into that. I don't know if it's a joint facilities thing or a town council thing, but
Town council.
I really want them to look in. I really want them to be able to do that Christmas show. The other thing is they've given over $200,000 to students in Enfield for scholarships. And it just, to me, it just seemed a little unreasonable. I don't want the local, you know, if groups from outside the town want to come in and do it, I get it, but I don't know about that.
I agree with you, Tina. They've been a long-standing, fine organization in our town, and it seems excessive, doesn't it?
So I know that there's a new facilities use document that was approved not too long ago, and I think that there was some tweaks done to that, and it's another subcommittee that dealt with this, and I don't know if it was DPW. I think it was that they were the ones that dealt with this. So it was another subcommittee that came up with this policy and all the changes. But, and I don't know, actually, I don't remember, and I wish I did right now, if there were different rules for the school buildings versus the town buildings.
It's on
Like-
the screen, Gina.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
it's
should
on
be-
the screen. I'm trying to like,
So
So-
so again, this was, the charges were based on the facilities use policy, which this is what was agreed to. These are the rates, so it's $500 for 4 hours and $125 per hour after that. So you also have to, hold on a second. So you also have to use because of the audiovisual system at Enfield High School, it's a lot more complicated, and from the annex, we have to use the person that does that there. That's where these charges have emanated from.
so
this is-
theirs was at Enfield High, not at the annex.
Right,
Right.
they used to be at the annex, which I think is
Right.
now why he's saying they have to use their audio-visual person. and
Right,
not-
but previously they didn't. And so whoever came to get trained on it didn't show up for the recital. It was somebody else who didn't know how to use it and they still had to pay for it.
I'm unaware. This is first I'm hearing about it. Tina.
I just think that I agree that we have these rental fees and different things, but I mean, with a business like Riley's who continues to have, we know every June they're having a recital here if we're not in a pandemic. They give that whole Christmas show is donations to the food shelf. It's over $8,000 plus the amount of pounds of food they donate. Then you have the scholarships they award for local students. I don't know if there can be a special application for a group like that or a set fee that would, go up for somebody who needs it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Almost like if you're going to take it for that time, I don't know that I don't like it because it's going to have local groups go out of town where it's cheaper. That's just my thought.
My daughter's dance studio went to Suffield this year. Scott's in the same studio. We were told that we couldn't even rent Enfield High or JFK.
Well, it brings up another issue. Last year, I think we've gotten it rectified, but last year they wanted Enfield High Safe Grad to fill out field or facilities use forms for every meeting. And sometimes with Safe Grad, it's a very sporadic time you meet, and you meet probably an hour and a half, once a month at the school. So we started to meet outside under the overhang, and they said we weren't allowed to meet under the overhang, that we still had to fill out a facilities use form. I think what Dresdick finally said is that you should be considering Safe Grad like a PTO. Because it's every year, there's no events there. It's just that these parents need a place to meet for an hour and a half, and they're actually raising money for kids who attend that school. So I think that there needs to be more discussion about field facilities use with local
So-
groups.
That is something, did that come out, that came out of DPW, right?
B&G, I don't know. Oh,
Yeah,
on that
No,
side.
the
Yes, it
DPW
did. Yeah,
subcommittee.
it did.
And Doug, you're on that, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, so that's something that that we can discuss with them, because they're the ones that approved these changes and stuff for the facilities use policy.
Because I know
Right.
that when,
But these were the same fees that, being new on this council, new on a committee, same fees that they've had. Now, Tina, my suggestion for you and anybody else would be to come to this it's an open meeting that we have, and try to get on the agenda to say, hey, you know, we need to think about this for rallies or others, but you gotta think about this now too, like you have the soccer clubs who are paying, you know, they're town people, they've been here for years. And they're paying for field use too. I'm not trying to sound mean, but I mean, if we're gonna do something for certain people, we should do it for all. And I'm not
yeah.
disagreeing with you.
But American Legion was grandfathered in.
Right, yeah, I mean, again, I'm not
So
disagreeing
we are
with you.
doing for some and not for others.
Yeah, right,
and
again, I'm
I
not,
mean,
dis-
there's a
Riley's
lot of
isn't,
kids that
Riley's
actually
isn't
attend
enough.
Riley's that live here. It's not a
Riley's-
small studio.
It's
And
not
then
a
you've got Tina's
not-for-profit,
kids
though.
who are going to Suffield High because they're told they can't even get here.
right,
Right,
and
but
just so
they're
you
not
know,
a
I,
not-for-profit.
right, and my point is, I'm an honorary member of the Raleigh Dance Group because of the girls who I met many years ago. They introduced me to it. But it's still, we need to do something about this, and I agree with you 100% is my point, Tina. But we gotta come to, you know, things gotta happen at the meeting. We have different people on it. I'm not disagreement of it. I think it should be that strictly town people, strictly kids, parents, should have an exemption from this. That's my opinion, just to let you know.
Thank you. I will mention about the next DPW meeting.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Don, I was doing good till you told me those fields were 14 years old and I was on that committee. So now I'm depressed.
It happens quick, doesn't it, Doug?
It really does.
I know.
Hey, to go back to that real quick, is there a plan for the athletics or? Did I miss?
I didn't hear-
Did I miss?
what was that
What do you
again?
mean? Like for
Like-
the Fermi, like how they're gonna logistically play at Enfield High, Jonathan?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From
we're
what I
again,
understand, there's a plan with like Fermi and different things.
yeah, we're working with Corey. We have an abnormal amount of field requests this year, and we are really booked this year for everything that's going on. But again, we understand EHS takes precedent and all school sports take precedent. So we have been actively working with Corey, Mark Gar. We're constantly emailing or texting or talking to Corey, can they use it? What his schedules are. I mean, we're down now at some of the fields, we're actually down to like, okay, are you using it up till 11 o'clock? Because there's requests after 11. I mean, it's that tight. Before we're dealing with days. Now we're dealing with we're down to the hour on some of these fields with switchovers from BOE sports to private and nonprofit stuff. So it's it'll be a very challenging fall this year with the amount of requests that we have, but feel confident that again, Corey and I, and between Corey and I, Mark and I, and all of us together, we're good.
And then, not saying tomorrow, but is Fermi on the list to be done too at some point in the near future? Because I know, a lot of youth sports in town use that facility as well.
Fermi Turf, are you referring
Yeah,
to?
correct. Yeah, the turf itself.
There's nothing in the immediate future, no. But through budget
How
time,
old is that one?
I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Doug.
So, Donald knows about this. Bob, Mayor Crissati and myself, we took a little trip down JFK in the backfields. If anybody hasn't been down there, you should take a walk, especially after a 5-minute rainstorm. We've got a couple of ponds that are forming down there, coming through. The fields look like crap. And I think, again, Donald knows about this. Excuse me. Bob and I both have videos and pictures. I'm sure this is part of that committee. I'm pretty sure.
No, the JFK committee should be talked, should.
Okay, that's the JEF committee, so then I'm
Yep.
wasting everybody's time, but I will get with them. But it's bad. For the money we're spending, it's terrible.
That's the part of the building committee.
Building committee?
Yeah, that's the JFK building committee, which I'm
All right.
also on, so you can, well,
I'll
I'm.
hit you with it. I'll send you all the stuff I
You
got.
can send me all the information, but Randy Daigle is the one that, he is the chairman, but, if you want to send it to me,
I will.
we can send that information out. Because we don't want a repeat of what happened with the Enfield High fields after a brand new.
It's terrible down there.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It really is. But okay, Gina, I'll definitely send it to you.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll just add to one last thing about the Rileys. They don't want to be exempt. They used to pay, they said, no more than $5,000. So they're prepared to pay. They were just surprised it went from 5,000 on the high end to 11,000. That's all. But they are prepared to pay. It's not like they want it for free. They've paid.
We don't, right,
They were just
so we don't
surprised.
really, I have not seen any receipt bills from people who are being charged. Mark Gar and Donald handle that.
Okay.
If it has become before, if it was before me, I'm sorry, I never saw them.
No worries. Just
Yeah,
something to
but we'll
think about.
definitely look into it, Tina. We should do it.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Awesome.
Gina, if I just wrap up on JFK Fields, I did speak with, I did convey Mayor Crisati's and Doug's concerns to Chris Cycli, who's our project rep, our owner's rep for that. So he does know about it. And if you could send me, Doug, if you could, or Gina, if you can get a hold of Mayor Crisati's pictures and videos, and Doug's, if you can send them my way too, so I can forward them to Chris and Randy. So,
Definitely, I'll do it tonight, Donald, for you.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a shame to hear. It was looking so good in the beginning of the season. I took a ride back there. The grass looked real good, and disappointing to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
it's not even grass, it's all clover. When you walk in the back where the girls' softball field used to be, if you remember, that used to be a football field. And even after slight rain, you couldn't even walk back there without sinking 4 inches. Well, it's still the same. The infields that they use for the baseball and stuff, they brought some South Carolina infield treatment. Well, this is in South Carolina. The atmospheres are different. The grounds are different. There's no clay in this stuff. I mean, I dealt with facilities for 12 years. So this is, right up my alley. But the point is that it's definitely wrong. It's definitely wrong. It's definitely not where it should be for the kind of money we have.
Yeah, and they haven't even been used. All right, go ahead, Bethany.
I just had a quick question on the referendum projects, when we're gonna get updates on when that's starting. Sorry.
I just love how people just call it the referendum now without even, just rolls off the tongue.
It's perfect.
Like
So-
Kleenex, right?
Well, so if we want, we can either talk about it tonight, or we can put it on the agenda for next meeting and sort of do a referendum update.
Next meeting sounds good.
If that's, is that all right?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. We do not need to meet at our second meeting in August unless for some reason Chris sends me more invoices that are, need to be done ASAP. But for right now, let's plan on the 8th of September being our next meeting. Oh crap, I can't do the 8th of September. So. Next meeting TBD. But I will let you know as soon as possible. I don't know if we're gonna be able to go to the second meeting date to the 22nd of September, so I'll have to talk to Chris on when he thinks. We may actually have to have a second meeting this month if they're gonna be done everything to approve some of the last invoices at the end of the month, and then we might be able to go to the end of September. So why don't we just tentatively keep our calendars open? Sorry, guys, I know I told you I don't like to do this. So let's keep our calendars tentatively open for the 25th, please.
Well, we just billed July. We just approved July tonight. So August, they won't be able to bill until they get out of August.
Right, but I don't know how it works if they're planning on being done, those projects by the 22nd of August is what I'm saying. That's what
Yeah.
Chris said. I don't know how the bill.
But they won't bill them till the end of the month. They won't.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't know
They'll
how.
do
it
them
works.
the end of the month.
So it'll be in September at some point.
Okay. Then
What
never
day
mind.
what day do you want us to hold, Gina?
No, they're telling me we won't need an August, the 25th wouldn't make any sense, so, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know at this point.
Okay,
It might be the 8th and then somebody else may have to run the meeting, which means we would need to, generally, I think what they've done is had a vice chair and that was the chair of the school board committee, vice chair this committee. I know that that's what Donna and Walter did. I don't,
Yeah, Donna, Walter would run the meeting if Donna couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
remember I
just let me know.
asked you,
Yep.
Gina, remember I asked you that in the email, if you wanted to do a co-chair or
Yep.
vice
so
chair.
if that's what we have to do, then that would probably just be the first item on the agenda for the 8th, if that's the date we're gonna do, because I don't know that I'll be available at 6 PM on the 8th. So
Okay.
we'll be in touch.
very good.
So tentatively hold your schedules then for the 8th of September. If we can move it, then we will. All right?
Yep.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Motion to, yes, John.
No, see, that was goodbye. I
Oh.
heard.
Oh,
That
okay.
was-
John.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Good night,
All
everybody.
right. A
Bye.
motion
Thank
to
you.
adjourn was made.
Bye-bye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of the summer.